Good morning. Happy Friday. Made it to the end of another week. Woohoo! I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum here with your early morning intuitive guidance. And we've got a theme going for the past couple of weeks. And it's the abundance theme. And this is a deck we haven't worked with in a bit. So the message keeps coming through regardless of the deck we are using. Good morning, Nancy. Or books. Sometimes we're in books. But today it's actually a pocket card deck. So looking forward to sharing that message with you. We'll give it a minute for other peeps to join Nancy and pop on and see where everybody's at today on this fine Friday. Good morning, Beth. Welcome, welcome. So we did get some rain yesterday, but their big hairy storm, I don't know, it either went north or south of us because it wasn't so big and hairy here. Good morning, Carolyn. Welcome. Glad you're here. And I have to sneeze. Hang on. Oi. Let me grab a drink here. It's allergy season. Can you tell? And by the beginning of the day, the Zyrtec has worn off, so I'll take my dose and we'll get back on track here. So, let me think here. I feel like I'm getting niggling messages, so I just want to listen in for a moment. Yep. Feels like some breathing is important, not just because I'm stuffy with allergies, but because maybe many of you have not been breathing very deeply. I did an interesting thing. I'm not going to call it a bad thing. Good morning, Gwen. Glad you're here. An interesting thing last night because I've been working on a report. So I haven't been keeping up on my emails as well as I typically do. So I was behind on Heather Cox Richardson and I was behind on What a Day. And so I did a little binge. I think I had 3 What a Days and 4 Heather Cox Richardsons to catch up on. And what was interesting about it, storms were strong in Milwaukee. Okay, yeah, here it wasn't much. Good morning, Mel. Glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. And I had heard it was going to go north of us anyway, so I don't know if there's trees down and stuff to the north, but here, I mean, we had some wind and we were under a tornado watch, but good morning, Abigail. Glad you're here. Welcome. Good morning, Sue. Hello, hello. Everybody rolling in. So what this tells me is today's message is important. And I think it's probably taking a few moments to breathe deeply is important this morning. Okay? 2 tornadoes near you. Okay. So yeah, it was definitely souther than by us. So glad you survived it. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't see any branches down, nothing. So yeah, it wasn't overly much here. Not much by you either. Good, got some rain. Fabulous. All right. And I think there's a potential for rain this evening here too, so we'll see. I watered yesterday anyway. I figured we weren't going to get nearly enough to help the plants be happy, and I have these 2, they're kind of a chartreuse color smoke bush. Most of the smoke bushes are that beautiful plum color, but these are chartreuse, and every year they are not happy. They get too hot, and they're right in the front of the house, so they're south facing. So, but there's a tree that protects them. So, but I'm going to keep them extra watered this year and see if that makes a difference. And aside, so let's go back to tapping and breathing. A little bit of tapping right here, and some breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Filling up a little more deeply the second time. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Inhale a little deeper again. And exhale more fully. Do you notice getting lightheaded a little bit? Again, if that's happening, it's because typically you're not breathing deeply enough. So let's get that breath moving. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Taking in life energy. Drawing in divine guidance. And out with anything that no longer serves. There we go. A little better? Let us hope so. So our card deck is the Spirit Animal Pocket Oracle deck by Colette Baron Reed. And the image on the front is the deer with the great big antlers, all decorated. But our card for today is Koi Fish Spirit. So there's the koi fish. And when we went last weekend to the Native Basket exhibit that's right now at Payne Art Center in Oshkosh, they had their koi out in their ponds already. And it was funny because there was a Mama and Daddy Mallard sitting on the edge of the koi pond, just kind of watching the fish. They didn't jump in. They weren't like eating them or anything. They were just hanging out, watching the fish. So, koi fish, spirit, there is always enough. There's always enough. So, let's take a breath. Let it go. Those of you who have this card deck, it's card number 36. There is always enough. The oracle message, and remember we get a protection message if the card came upside down, and an oracle message if it came right side up. In this case it was right side up. I will read both just because I think it's useful to us. The oracle message. The koi fish who grows big within a small pond reminds us that within each of us is the potential for prosperity. Good morning, Beth, if I didn't say good morning already. Potential for prosperity. So hear that word, potential. It's like the acorn has all the potential of the oak tree, right? What we do with it, how we nurture it, makes a huge difference. Makes a huge difference. So what will we choose to do with this potential within us? The law of abundance ensures that prosperity is our natural state. So regardless of temporary outer conditions, you can call in prosperity and magnetically attract the opportunities and abundance you need. Good morning, Barb. And want. I'm adding in there and want, because it doesn't always have to be about need. It can be about transcending needs and moving into wants. And how many of you right there felt a pang of guilt? Like, oh, but if I have more, then others have less. No. That right there is the scarcity thinking. When we have more and we share more, we're cueing the universe. I know there's abundance. So more abundance can then be forthcoming. And you can continue to share. Economically, we talk about this, right? So my employer pays me $1. I take my $1 to the grocery store. The grocer pays the employee. The employee takes that $1 to a different place. That money moves around. That's how it builds prosperity, wealth, need meeting, want meeting, etc. It needs to be moving. It needs to be moving. All right? And that doesn't mean don't have your reserves, but even think about that. What do we call that? Oftentimes we call it, a rainy day fund or some kind of description. That emergency fund, there's a great one, emergency fund. We're preparing for an emergency. We're drawing that to us. We're energizing emergency. Come up with another name. Good morning, Angie. Glad you're here. It could be the What I Need and Want Fund. Even that is a little troublesome, though, because it's putting it out there in terms of it must mean I don't already have it. If you do something like I'm saving for blank, and I trust that blank is already mine, it's coming to me in divine right timing and divine right order. I'm so happy and grateful now that I already did a little happy and grateful list this morning. And you know what I started with? I had a pen that worked beautifully. Yesterday, I think I went through 3 pens they weren't writing, it wouldn't flow, blah, blah, blah. I don't like using the markers because if the book gets wet, that is all illegible. My writing is illegible enough. So, but this morning I had this amazing pen. So I had gratitude for the pen. By the time I went, then I had gratitude for my air conditioner and the birds singing outside. And pretty soon I had this really long list of gratitude. And that felt good. That felt good. So let's go back to our abundance, our koi fish spirit here. There's always enough. The message of koi fish spirit is to begin to generate wealth within. Good morning, Nancy. Didn't I say hi to you already? I think I did. This thing blows my mind how many times an individual's name will roll. I have no idea. I mean, it never used to do that, but now all of a sudden Facebook decides to let me know that Nancy's here 5 times and Barb's here 3 times, and it's weird. Whatever. So, let's something niggling again. Hang on. Okay, I'm going to read this sentence, then we're going to do some breath, just to bring this point home to all of us, even more fully. The message of koi fish spirit is to begin to generate wealth within, with deliberate intention, no matter how small your pond might seem, and appreciate abundance wherever you see it. Wherever you see it. So let's take a breath on that. I have abundance. And out. I have abundance. In. Out. And on the third breath, I want you to name 5 aspects of your abundance. They can be aspects within you. They can be aspects in your world, things you've acquired, whatever it is. 5 things. Ready? In. And out. Do yours. I have expansive thought. That's what I want. I have expansive thought. I have an open heart. That's abundance. That's beautiful abundance. I have flowers in my garden. That's abundance. Love that. I have water in my cup. That's abundance. And I have the birds that are singing to me right now. That is abundance. What do you come up with? Maybe put your list in the feed. That would be awesome. First thing in the morning, you're sharing your abundance. Love it. Love it, love it. And think about generating wealth within. Because as within, so without. Whatever's going on within you is what's getting reflected outside in your world. Abundance within. What does that look like, sound like, feel like? Well, for me, it looks like sitting up straight, shoulders back, patting my chest. I like that one. That feels like an abundant thing. Feels like a soothing thing. Abundance within. What does it sound like? For me, when I know I'm surrounded by the helpers, there's a hum in my ear. It's a high-pitched hum. And it's kind of like they're saying, we're here, utilize us. Say hello, join us. Feel like, what does it feel like when I'm in abundance? Again, open, flowing. It's flowing. When I'm in that state, my behavior changes. I might be far more likely to let someone into traffic. I might be far more likely to wave to someone. Etc. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Land, flowers, nature, friends, tools for being crafty. That's a beautiful list, Nancy. Thank you for sharing. Okay, Holly. Good catch. Good catch that you could see that your first thoughts went negative. Take a breath. Let it go. Draw in some positive energy. It is there. It's all out there. What are our lenses? You can consciously make the choice right here, right now, to modify those lenses. And you might get the committee in your head screaming a little bit about, yeah, but this sucks and that sucks. Thank you for your opinion. I choose to focus on the positive. And see if you can pull up a couple. If you can't get to 5, so be it. See if you can find 1 or 2. It can be little things. I'm on YEMIG this morning, whatever it is, some little things, all right? Let's see where else this leads us. Outer conditions will come to reflect your inner prosperity. Ding, 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 mic drop, that is huge. That's what this is all about, you guys. The external mirrors our internal, which is why eyewitness testimony, if I have two people standing there witnessing something, their lenses are totally going to dictate what they see. There's much there to see. Our classic example is the glass. Half empty or half full. It depends on what lenses you choose. And I want to keep reiterating, it is a choice. And many of you are going to say, yeah, but I've been so negative for so long, it's habitual. Yes, habits can be changed. People quit smoking every day. People achieve their ideal weight every day. People quit grousing about stuff every day. People cut off habits that aren't healthy every day. You can too. You can too. All right. Let's see. Start to envision the plenty that Spirit wants you to experience, and Spirit will joyfully start bringing you what you need. And again, then pay attention to it. Then pay attention to it. If you're so busy saying, well, I don't have this, and I don't have that, and I don't have something else, that's what you're drawing to you. Empathy, intuition, living in peace, gardening, friends, being active. Yes, yes, yes. Beautiful list. Beautiful list. Keep going, guys. Keep going. And take from each other's lists. Oh, yeah, that one fits for me, too. Borrow heavily. Because what? There's abundance. We know there's more than enough. Barb having empathy doesn't mean that Gwen can't have empathy. Doesn't mean that I can't have empathy, right? That's your word this year. Positive, positive, positive. Yes, yes, yes. And again, it's all out there. What we perceive is always dictated by our lenses. It can sometimes be dictated by who we hang around with. If we have a negative Nelly that we're locked arms with, that begins to color our perceptions. Okay, Nelly, but do you see this? And do you see that? And do you see the other things that are here that are positive? We get to choose. We get to choose. All right, let's see what else we got here. You have so much to offer and so much of value to express in the world. In your little pond, there is much you can create and much you can attract. Koi fish spirit wants you to know, so let me show you again, there's your fish. Wants you to know that you are exquisite, loved, and deeply cherished. So there's how I want you to introduce yourself today. Hi, I'm Gwen and I'm exquisite. Hi, I'm Bonnie and I'm exquisite. Will you get some eyebrows? You betcha. Perfect. Make people think. It is good. Trust that outer conditions are changing to reflect that truth, that you are exquisite, loved, and deeply cherished. Deeply cherished. So then think about that. If you are, I'm glad you love this card, I do too. If you are exquisite, loved, and deeply cherished, how should you be treating yourself? What might you want to do differently? Even in terms of addressing yourself. Well, you dummy, pick it up. No, 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 no. Oops, I dropped it. I'll pick it up. Bend carefully, dear. All right, so now here's the protection message part. That would have been as if the card came upside down. But given some of the things some of you are putting in here, let's read this part because it's going to be relevant to some of you. Protection message. Are you feeling a sense of scarcity? Afraid you will not have enough and not be enough to meet the challenges you face? Whatever your outer conditions, they are temporary. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Everything is temporary. So if you don't like it, make a few changes and something different will be presented to you. Let's see. Whatever your outer conditions, they are temporary and reflecting what was set forth in the past. In this moment, right here, right now, we are laying the groundwork for our future. All right? Working on joy, yes. Yep, it has been dimmer lately. Okay, so right here, right now, I want you to imagine that dimmer switch. Take a breath. Let it go and dial it up a bit. Okay, take a breath. Let it go. Dial that dimmer switch up a bit. And I want you to notice this particular dimmer switch does not have an end. You don't get to the top end of the beam of light. You can keep dialing that thing up. Just keep it up with the breath. Inhale. Dialing up the dimmer switch. Brighter, brighter, brighter. Right? Okay, let's see. Whatever your outer conditions, they are temporary and reflecting what was set forth in the past. So your present moment is the result of your past thoughts, your past feelings, your past beliefs. That's where created this present moment. So in this present moment, you're laying the foundation for your next moment. What kind of foundation do you want to lay? And I go back to that one, I think it might have been from Rebecca Campbell, but the gist of it was, do you want God and the universe saying yes to the thinking you have going on in your head right now? It's the answer's always yes. Yes, 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 yes to what you are thinking. So what are you thinking? Oh, life sucks. I don't have enough, blah, blah, blah. That's what you want the universe saying yes to? Let's try again, shall we? Nice deep breath in and out. I have all I need and all I want. Everything comes to me in divine right timing and divine right order. I'm so happy and grateful to receive it. Because then you're not coming from that, oh, I hope I get. All that creates is more circumstances that reflect that hope that you get it, i.e., you don't have it. All right? I'm so happy and grateful now that. All right. Koi fish spirit is your ally in changing those conditions by transforming your inner beliefs about scarcity and plenty. And you can bring those inner beliefs to awareness, because most of them are subconscious, right? Again, one of the ways that I find most fascinating and fun is having someone that you, and if you don't feel like you have someone or you're not ready to try it with someone else, do it by writing. So with your dominant hand, you start writing, I'm so happy and grateful I have everything I need and want. With your non-dominant hand, in my case, my right hand would be the non-dominant. You write the, yes, and everything that I need and want is coming my way in divine right timing and divine right order. Left hand answers that. Right hand, and pretty soon you hit the wall. Yeah, but what about this? I don't have a new car, and this one's falling apart, and blah, blah, blah. You've caught it. There's the stinking thinking. What modification will you make in that moment to what you're writing? And you might then want to write it with both hands. So, my divine right vehicle is on its way to me. I'm so happy and grateful to receive it. Write it with your dominant hand, write it with your non-dominant hand. Go back and forth between the hands until you believe it. Until you believe it. Remember school when you talked out loud and you had to go write on the board, I will not talk, I will not talk, I will not talk. Yeah. This is a positive version of that exercise. Okay? So back and forth between the hands. Get the whole brain working on this thing. Okay. Perhaps you have suffered a loss or are afraid you soon will. Koi fish asks you to find prosperity within by connecting with spirit through spiritual practices. Again, your God jar is a beautiful spiritual practice for letting go of this stinking thinking. Put it all in the God jar. Okay, I can't seem to let go of this crappy thought that I'm doing the same job as Joe, but Joe's getting paid more than I am. This irritates me. I've addressed it with my boss. Not making any headway here. Okay, God, it's in the jar. Don't be surprised if shortly thereafter you get called in and get a raise. That's how this stuff works, you guys. That's how this stuff works. We need to shift that underlying belief that somehow we don't deserve, that there's not enough to go around, all the stuff, right? Out it goes. Out it goes. Okay. Spirit wants to remind you that your natural state is one of abundance. Repeat, your natural state is one of abundance. What if you said that? Hi, I'm Bonnie, and my natural state is one of abundance. Again, you're going to get the looks. Who cares? Who cares? You're making a declaration. You are making a declaration. What are you feeling? What are you thinking? Put it in the feed. How's this settling with you? My natural state is one of abundance. Let's see here. Remember all that you have to offer so that you can generate your own opportunities, love relationships, and even more. Remember all that you have to offer. Now, here's one of the deals. Oftentimes, women in particular pay short shrift to the gifts that they have to offer. I had one last night where someone's saying, all I know how to do is X and Y. And I could have filled in the blanks for her, but it's her job to fill in those blanks, right? So I could give a list of the entire alphabet of skills and abilities that this particular person has, the internal gifts, love, etc., but the external stuff too. These are my skill sets. That was the word I used with her, was skill sets. You have far more skill sets than you think you do. What's interesting, though, is she grabs onto the skill sets that keep her down, that keep her held in lack. So I'll just pick one. Retail. I know how to do retail. Yes, you do. Retail has not paid you well. Why would you go back to that? It's a comfort zone. It's a fallback into. Exactly. And money is merely energy. It's merely energy. So how do you want that energy to look for you? How do you want that energy to look for you? The I always have enough. That's perfect. That's perfect. Yep. As you give to others, your own sense of prosperity grows because you're telling yourself, I'm prosperous enough. I am capable of giving to others. People who have what we would deem very little sometimes can be very generous people because they know and they believe, I have enough. And it may look like they have very little because it's flowing through. They're not hoarding. They're not hanging on to it. Good morning, Tammy. Good morning, Lisa. Glad you're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, as you give to others, your own sense of prosperity grows and your outer conditions begin to shift in an alchemical reaction. Way back when I first got out of school, had no money, you're working 3 jobs, doing all the things. There were times when I'd put money, $100 bill, in an envelope, mail it to somebody that I knew was in need. No return address, no nothing, and it wasn't a check, it was cash. And the hilarity that ensued, because oftentimes I'd end up having a conversation with that person after the fact, and they're guessing who sent them the money. And they never guessed right. I just thought that was hilarious. But it was also signaling to me and the universe, I know I have enough. I know I will be taken care of. This is my ritual to overcome my stinking thinking, my scarcity thought process. I need to let this go. And we are surrounded by people who are living in scarcity, are we not? They talk about it, they spew it around us, blah, blah, blah. The economy's going to hell, everything, we're losing all of these things, blah, blah. Stay in abundance. Stay in abundance. Even if something literally gets taken away from you. Let's say your Medicaid gets taken away from you, given all the bullshit that's going on. Stay in a positive mindset as best you can. This will be worked out. Nothing is forever. Nothing is forever. So the shitty stuff is not forever either. Okay? And trust that. Speaking your truth about that is in your wheelhouse. It's something you can do. If you haven't been calling your congresspeople, if you haven't been calling, your senators, your representatives, blah, 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 feel free to do so. You're paying their salary. Have a conversation with them. Let them know what you think of the stuff that's going on. Don't get caught in the, it's happening to me. Don't go there. Don't go there. I'm a sovereign being. I can speak my truth about this stuff. We're going through this dark night of the soul, but we will get to the light. And I will be a beacon that helps us get to the light. Okay? All right, let's see what else we got here. I want to read that one again. As you give to others, your own sense of prosperity grows, and your outer conditions begin to shift in an alchemical reaction. Prosperity and love are yours to receive, experience, and enjoy. And I'm going to say, and share, and share. And then the last two words on this particular card are believe it. Believe it. My favorite word, believe. So, that is our message for today. We have abundance. We are abundance. We're steeped in abundance. We need to adjust our lenses to see what's already there. Have an awesome Friday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.